Hello. Welcome to Hellhound's Midnight Spook Show, here on the Horror and Metal channel. I figured I'd do a quick movie review tonight, but before I begin, I just want to get something out of the way real quick. Go ahead and skip to the 2-minute mark if you want to go ahead and get to the movie review. I just want to get something out of the way real quick here, just a brief 2 minutes. The last video I did was my thoughts on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the most recent, the 5th installment of the Jurassic Park franchise, which I'm a huge fan of that series. And I feel like in my video I was a little too hard on it. I rewatched the video and I didn't mean to sound that negative. I didn't mean to sound that cynical and pessimistic at all. Like, I talked a lot about the things I didn't like. I didn't talk enough about the things I did like. I still think it's like kind of more of a guilty pleasure type of movie, you know, like a so bad it's good type of thing going on. But it's still fun, you know, it's just a fun, mindless monster flick, you know, way to turn your brain off, enjoy some popcorn, and just have a good time, you know. It's highly entertaining. It wasn't boring. It was better than Jurassic Park 3, and I think probably better than The Lost World as well. So my third favorite, filming a video! People are always bugging me every time I turn this camera on. But anyway, yeah, I was a little too hard on the film, and it made it sound like I hated it, but I really don't. I think it was fun. I'd still recommend it. I still say go see it. It just wasn't like a great movie like the original. You know, not as good as Jurassic World, certainly not as good as the original Jurassic Park, but I'd still say go see it. I'd still recommend it. I think you still have a blast with it. You have a lot of fun. Yeah, I think it was an interesting, you know, save the animals type of angle they had, which I think was kind of interesting. That hadn't really been done much before. A little bit in Lost World, but which this movie felt a lot like. But again, I was a little too hard on it. I think I don't think it's as bad as I came across. So, Fallen Kingdom, definitely check it out. And sorry if I sounded like I hated it, which I really didn't. I definitely enjoyed it, and I had a lot of issues with it. It was predictable, it was cliche, but it was still a fun monster flick. All right, anyway, let's get on with the review, the real review. Today I'm going to go ahead and review a movie called The Gate from 1987. I think it was filmed in '86 and released in '87. Now, this is a really good movie, a really good 80s flick, one of my favorites, actually. I think it's a little underrated, you know. I mean, it's probably pretty well known within the horror fan base, you know, within the horror community, but, you know, it's a pretty, not as talked about as some of the others, so I think it's kind of a lesser-known gem, if you will, so, but anyway, yeah, The Gate, that's what we're going to talk about today. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you do. Anyway, it was directed by Tibor Takacs, the guy who directed I, Madman, and written by Michael Menken, and it actually stars a young Stephen Dorff. If you know who Stephen Dorff is, he's actually a kid in this movie. This is one of his earliest film roles. You get to see Stephen Dorff as a kid. You know, he played the villain in the first Blade movie, Deacon Frost, and he was in a few other good. He was the villain in Cold Creek Manor, which I didn't think that was a good movie, but pretty cool to see him as a kid in this, you know. So he does a good job. He was a good actor even back then. But anyway, if you've seen the movie Home Alone, everybody likes the movie Home Alone, right? Everybody knows Home Alone. Well, this is a little similar. It's some kids home alone without their parents. Their parents are out of the town or something, and but instead of dealing with robbers, they're dealing with demons. That's right. The plot concerns a hole in their backyard. The main characters are 3 kids. Glenn, again played by Stephen Dorff, his sister Al, played by Krista Denton, and his best friend Terry, played by Louis Tripp. So yeah, they're the 3 main characters. There's also Al, the sister, her 2 annoying friends, but they're not really in the movie all that much. And then there's also the parents, who are very briefly in it at the beginning, and then a scene toward in the middle. And then some other of Al's friends are having like a party or something at the beginning, like the opening scene where they actually levitate young Glenn. It's a really weird scene. They lift him off the ground. He gets really scared. But other than that, the main cast is just those 3 kids. And yeah, they're having like a sleepover or whatever. You know, Terry's spending the night with Glenn, and I guess Al's got her 2 irritating friends there. And there's a hole in their backyard from where I guess they dug up an old tree or something. And basically, it turns out it's actually a portal to hell. That's right, the gate. It's a gateway to the underworld. And some demons emerge. Now, I believe they either accidentally summoned them or something. I don't know. I should have watched this movie before I did this review. It's not really fresh in my mind. But I remember enough to talk about it. And I think that basically Terry, the friend, he's a kind of a nerdy, awkward. You know, he's kind of the geeky teen, but he's also a metalhead. You know, so I really relate to him a lot. The geeky rocker, the geeky headbanger. You know, who loves metal. There's a scene where he's like all kinds of posters on his walls. He's got an awesome little metal record collection. He's rocking out to some heavy metal. There's like this rock band that he idolizes that they all died a tragic death, and they released one album and actually playing it backwards. Or playing it forwards, I think summons demons, and playing it backwards sends it back. I don't know. It was something like that. It was kind of a weird subplot. But anyway, the important thing is the demons escape from the hole in the backyard. All kinds of crazy things start happening. A lot of really weird scenes in this one. The most fun part is the little demons, which it's like either stop motion animation or actors in rubber suits made to look smaller. They scaled them down. I guess they spliced them in there, made them look smaller using perspective shots and stuff. The costumes and the effects are really good in this movie. It's got great special effects, puppets, costumes, animatronics, stop motion, as I said. Great creature effects, especially the big, huge, giant demon at the end. That thing looked awesome. The way they defeat it is really weird. I won't give it away. I won't reveal any spoilers, but the way they get rid of it was kind of strange. Anyway, these little creatures, these little demonic beings are running amok. They kind of remind me of, it's kind of like something like Gremlins or Critters or Ghoulies, little monsters running around. But all kinds of other crazy stuff happens. Terry thinks he sees his dead mom come in the door, and he starts hugging her, and it turns out it's actually the dog. Their dog, I think the dog's name is Angus or something. I don't know. Then the dog dies, and then the dead dog starts appearing around the house. Don't worry, the dog comes back to life. That's one thing I will spoil. There's no way I'm finishing this review with you thinking a dog died in this movie, because we don't want animals to die in horror movies. People get upset when you do that, so don't do that. But the dog comes back to life, so I will spoil that part, thankfully. But anyway, all kinds of weird things happen like that. Then there's a melting phone. Then there's the part where Glenn's parents actually come back, and his dad's face starts melting off, and his head falls off and starts rotting on the ground, while the mom's cackling in evil demonic laughter, and all kinds of crazy stuff like that happens. There's a weird story that Glenn tells about a dead guy who lives in the walls. He actually turns out to be real. It's really the demons making all this stuff happen. So it's he looks like a zombie, but it's really the demons in disguise or whatever. All kinds of crazy scenes like that. The best way to describe this movie, to get a proper review, is just to talk about all the weird scenes, all the weird events that occur. And those are just some of them. There's also an eyeball that appears in Glenn's hand towards the end. Just all kinds of crazy, weird things like that happen. Really odd, really out there occurrences. So. And it's all the demons doing it. It's all the hole in the ground, the backyard's a gate to hell, and it's making all this crazy shit happen. I'm trying to make sure I didn't leave anything out. There's the whole heavy metal subplot with Glenn, Terry, his friend, the geeky metalhead, playing the record backwards, and stuff like that. And then, let's see, what else? The scene at the beginning where they make Glenn levitate. There's a good monster under the bed scene, all kinds of crazy monster hands coming out of the bottom of the bed. Yelling and snarling and stuff. There's there's weird stuff about moths. There's moths. Were they moths? Yeah, these got moths in a jar. So I think they're moths. Yeah, I really should have watched this movie right before I did this review. I was planning on watching it recently, but I never got the time. I've been working a lot, but I really should have made time to watch this movie. Because I'm forgetting certain minor details. Not that it's important. I can still do the review justice. Don't worry. But so basically they're all scared. They're all trying to lock themselves in, and trying to fend off against the little beasts that are plaguing them. Little nightmare occurring at night. It's a really fun, cozy setting, in the house, and having to sleep over, and all these crazy things are going on outside and inside. Awesome effects, really really cool. Cool looking monsters, and just other things that are just the melting phone. That's an awesome effect. Just other really really great eye candy, if you will. All the kids are really good actors. They're all really believable and really likable, and I really wanted to see them succeed. I like horror movies that have kids as the main star, like It and Monster Squad and stuff like that. Critters, and this is definitely one of the better ones. Sometimes in movies kids can be really annoying, but there are a lot of exceptions, like Child's Play and stuff. And this is definitely one of the exceptions because I really like these kids. They're really good to know. They seem like good kids. I really felt for them going through all this stuff. And basically, all this crazy stuff's happening. Terry actually gets taken by the demons, and he comes back in this weird, creepy-looking zombie thing. He's like possessed, and like then they stab him in the eye with a Barbie doll's legs. I'll try not to give too much away because there's all kinds of crazy looking stuff like that. Yeah, somebody reviewed this movie and said the real star was the special effects, which I agree, but I really like the kids a lot too. But yeah, at the very end, I will not spoil the ending. I will not reveal what happens, but it's just basically the shit hits the fan. It just gets really, really crazy. Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff happens. These fiendish little beings invading suburbia, and only the kids can stop them. They gotta lock the gate before it's too late. Yeah, great premise, very well executed. I give it about an 8 out of 10, and I definitely recommend that you see it. Basically, just go see The Gate. You'll not be disappointed. It's a fun little flick, kind of overlooked, a little kind of forgotten, which shouldn't be because it's really good. Yeah, very likable cast, very memorable scenes. Definitely a great movie that I would highly recommend. So yeah. I think you'll definitely enjoy it. If you haven't seen The Gate already, do yourself a favor and go check it out. Now, luckily, it's never been remade. It's one of the very few horror movies that hasn't got a remake, but it was followed by a sequel a few years later, released in 1990, again directed by that guy who did I, Madman. Yeah, I got nabbed this when a local video store was going out of business, and unfortunately they put stickers all over the cover, which I can't seem to remove without taking the whole cover with it. So, oh well, the stickers are there forever. Yeah, X-Rental, obviously, Be Kind, Rewind, all that stuff. Love that. Yeah, I love X-Rentals. They're just so cool. But anyway, yeah, basically Louis Tripp returns as Terry. He's the only returning cast member this time, and he's the main character this time. Kind of cool to see him older and more grown up, because I really liked his character. He was interesting. And yeah, he's the main protagonist in this one. He's got a girlfriend and everything. There's these bullies, and he's got these silly friends and stuff. Yeah, he's really interested in demonology and Satanism, I guess from his experience in the last movie, and he accidentally summoned some beings from the other side, and I guess they got one of the demons in a cage, and they use it to grant wishes. I only own this movie in VHS, by the way. I think it was released on Blu-ray recently, which I should definitely obtain a copy. Yeah, I got it here on tape. And yeah, anyway, they make all these wishes, and then everything they wish for turns to crap. Like, it turns to feces. Which is one of the most memorable scenes in the movie. It's one of the main things I remember about this one. There's all kinds of bizarre stuff. I will say, this one's actually rated R, whereas the first one was PG-13. Now, I would say The Gate 2 seems a little more adult-like. It's a darker tone. It's a little more mature, but it's not nearly as good. It's not as fun. The special effects aren't quite as good. The characters aren't as memorable outside of Terry, who's cool. It's just not nearly as I don't know. It's not as appealing as the first movie at all. I think it's not a very good follow-up. It's kind of a letdown. I'd give it maybe a 6 out of 10. It's harmless, it's passable. It's not a terrible movie, but it's not really very good. It's definitely very weak compared to the original, which was much better. But I still recommend you see it if you want to see more of the Terry character, who again, he's friggin' awesome. So yeah, that pretty much makes up the Gate duology. Yeah, so. Very fun movies, especially the first one. I suggest you check them out. But again, know that Gate 2 isn't nearly as good as The Gate, for sure. It was definitely a lesser follow-up. But yeah, well, that does it for the Gate movies. They never made another one, so do yourself a favor and check out the original movie. And if you still want more and want to see more of the Terry character, check out Gate 2 as well. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound. I think I just about covered everything. There's a lot of other bizarre scenes in the movie that I probably forgot, that I probably should have mentioned, but I need to give it a rewatch and have it, fresh in my mind. Maybe I'll talk about it again. Maybe I'll do a review of Gate 2, and then I'll talk more about the first movie at the very beginning, kind of like I did with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom in this video. Alright guys, I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching. Check out The Gate. You'll be glad you did. Later.